while this was happening, I actually let out the screams, I let out some crying. Once I realized that I was stuck in this thought pattern, and I said, can I bow down?
We all are talking about the masculine and feminine energy and really having women just to understand their roles. And it's not a competition. It's really just is genuinely, do you understand the purpose of why you're here? Welcome to another episode of the Holistic Sister Circle. We are so excited for this. We are all about feminine versus masculine energy for this debate. And today's topic is one that honestly, I think it's really big on everyone's heart, and it's really big just in media in general, especially when it comes to just women and how we actually navigate our feminine versus masculine types of energies. So with today's topic, we do have a list of questions, and of course, for those of you all who are tuning in, whether it's YouTube or Facebook, if you have questions that you would like to ask the audience or guest experts as well, please feel free to share those in the chat. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and get started with the first question. So with these questions, ladies, the biggest thing is just one at a time, right? If there is a rebuttal or anything that anyone wants to share, you're more than welcome to do so at that time as well. We just ask that everyone mutes while one person is speaking, and then we can go about the list as such. So the first question is, how do you personally define feminine and masculine energy? And we can just go in the same order that we did as far as you all introducing yourself to each other to get us started. And then everyone else can just go ahead and mute at this time.
Okay, great. I'll start. I think in my personal experience, that feminine energy is being more in a receptive energy, in a receivership energy, in um, connecting with, our intuitive sides, connecting with our creative sides, and being in a place of being versus doing versus masculine energy is more of the do, it's more of the action, it's the more of the go and moving forward energy.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Before I have anyone chime in here, one question that I actually have for you in particular, Cassandra, is when you talk a little bit about the feminine and the masculine is more of the doing energy.
Mhm.
What exactly does that mean?
It's more of the taking action. It's more of the, when you're thinking of, let's think of like the traditional masculine and feminine, like in terms of evolution, right? Women were more of the taking care of the household type of energy, while the masculine energy, the men were out and they were getting the hunters and gatherers and providing food for the family and protection. So sometimes when I'm thinking of the energies, I revert back to almost an evolutionary perspective.
Okay, this is really good, and anyone can answer this as well. In modern society currently, a lot of women are really focusing on the feminist movement, and a lot of that has to deal with masculine energy. What are some things that, and anyone can share, Cassandra, you can also share as well. What are some things that you believe that women have lost focused on when it comes to just solely focusing on feminism and having that taker mentality, that hunting mentality, and not really just being and represented in their softness or feminine energy?
I think it's the both. We're being invited to live both roles right now, right? Of like, if you're thinking of mothers, right? Taking care of the household, doing those traditional woman based energies, but at the same time, are meant to go and work a 9 to 5 or run a business and be in that outward doing energy. So I think it's an interesting time in evolution, because when we're thinking about it, we weren't created this way on an evolutionary standpoint. So I think that's why a lot of women, especially entrepreneurs, I'm an entrepreneur myself, that face burnout because we're meant to be doing it all.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for sharing. Hi, we have some ladies saying good morning in the chat. Hello, hello. If you have questions through this debate at all, please feel free to share as we're tuning into feminine energy and masculine energy. Awesome. Thanks so much, Cassandra. Melanie, then Dr. Alicia, and then Monica. Would love your point of views on this as well. So, question again for those who don't remember, the question is, how do you personally define feminine and masculine energy?
I look at feminine and masculine, how it lives in myself, because a lot of these are pre-prescribed roles that we just adapt from the minute we're born. So when you pull back the lens and look at it, how am I personally embodying the feminine? How am I personally embodying the masculine? And then when they flow together inside of me, that's when like real magic happens. That's when my creative juice is on fire. That's when I can I can surrender and receive and flow, especially when it comes to pleasure, which is my home base. So when I went through my own transformation, when I dealt with the rage and the anger that I hold towards masculine in general. And I expressed it. I allowed myself to actually bow down and surrender to divine masculine. That's when, can we say like sex and pleasures, orgasms on here? Is that okay? But that's when like really full body into the cosmos type pleasure could flow through my body. And it was that feminine surrender, but it was also recognizing the hurt that has lived in my body, my ancestors' bodies, and that we're all carrying from. And I really want to be specific around toxic masculinity, because masculine doesn't have to be bad at all, but when it's put on with that patriarchal lens, it can get really toxic really fast. And that's where I know personally I held a lot of rage, anger, and not wanting to surrender, not wanting to bow down.
This is actually really interesting. Would you mind sharing with us what that looked like for you?
Yeah, there's actually one moment in particular where my husband was giving me a sacred tantric yoni massage, which is a total act of surrender. So I am in a process of breathing and feeling and allowing emotions as he's giving me pleasure. And this is a very specific kind of body massage for the internal anatomy inside of our vaginas. And that we actually carry so much tension. And in this particular moment in time, I was carrying a whole bunch of rage, and I was a little bit in my head, a little bit in story, until while this was happening, I actually let out the screams. I let out some crying. And we've been practicing Tantra for years. So he knows that that's okay. And that's part of it. It's the sacred aspect of allowing that feminine flow. But really, once I realized that I was stuck in this thought pattern, and I said, can I bow down as a queen? Can I receive? And so for like 2 or 3 minutes, I was just like, I am a queen and I can receive. I am a queen and I can receive. And then like it turned on this waterfall of flowing of emotions, of tears, of orgasm and pleasure that just went on, because I was able to fully surrender all the way into the presence of my divine masculine, of my husband, of him embodying that aspect of God, Goddess, God X. So that's that one particular moment in time, what happened.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. I've never even heard of that massage. So that'll be a whole nother topic for us to go into.
Yes.
All right, Dr. Alicia, do you want me to repeat the question?
What is masculine and feminine to me?
Yes.
So I see the masculine as the steady banks of a river that is it's just solid, right? And able to hold space for the movement and the creation of the feminine energy, which would be the river. And it's also the outlet, right? We have the grounding outlet, and then we have the actual energy moving. I see the feminine is the actual energy moving, and the grounding chord as that masculine. I think as a society, the gender roles of male and female um, can go with that, but we all have a makeup. And Reclaim Intimacy, it give us like quiz that basically helps people realize like what is your makeup, right? Because some women are even doesn't matter their sexual orientation, we'll separate that too, but even women in general have more masculine energy, right? As far as the energy goes, even though they're feminine in gender. And I know a lot of feminine males who are male in gender that when they pair up with their partners and they find like that perfect 30-70 match, right? That perfect 100, because it's not always 50-50, then their households work better. Their sex lives work better. Their ability to hold one another works better. And there's not a too much or not enough masculine or feminine, I don't think. And I think that if you are gendered as a female, there's this misconception that you're supposed to be in your feminine. And for many of us, I think that's I think that's true. I think that's where we thrive. But I think it's a very unique um personal journey that has a lot of layers that we can go into. And same for masculine. So yeah, so that's how I think of the masculine and feminine, much the same as both probably everybody here, but definitely two of you that just talked. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Dr. Alicia. Monica.
Yeah, I love the visual of the river. I think that's really beautiful and a good way to look at it. I tend to think of masculine energy just about direction, purpose, and structure. The masculine energy is usually our drive to achieve, solve problems, create safety and stability. And so, whether you're a woman or a man, you can embody that energy in certain, like the other women we're talking about, in certain aspects of your life, or in business or in other ways. But I feel like masculine energy tends to lead with logic, focus, and a desire to fix things, whereas the feminine energy is more about connection, flow, creativity, emotion. It's more nurturing, centered on relationships and feeling. And like when I'm in my feminine energy, I can cherish more. Like I want to be cherished. I want to cherish. And so I think that's descriptive of feminine energy. And then I think I work a lot with couples. And so instead of trying to change your partner or their energy, I think it's important to just honor what draws you to them. Like the feminine thrives when she feels seen, safe, and cherished. And that's male and female, right? They thrive feeling that way. And then the masculine tends to thrive when they feel trusted, respected, and appreciated. So, however that looks in whatever moment to moment, kind of a task that you're in, or wherever you're at in your day, there can be more masculine and more feminine energy present.
Awesome. Thanks so much for sharing. So we do have a question that just came in. With the modern world currently and how it stands, how can we ensure as women that we're balancing both masculine and feminine energies? And anyone can share this. Whoever wants to go can.
I would love to talk about personal practices. So I think when we're feminine, when we're allowing our bodies to move, and like I just imagine a song, right? So a song comes on and your body wants to naturally move. You're allowing energy to flow through your body, and you soften into that experience with breath, with mindfulness. That feels really feminine to me. But then a song could switch and the bass could get louder, and you can start stomping your feet and throwing your hands up in the air, and your breath gets more young, gets more activated. That's how you can practice both feminine and masculine actually pretty quick with like two different songs. One can be flowy and you can move your body sensually, and this is for you, not for performance. It's allowing your body to just flow and move. And then you can switch over to a really masculine song and pump the air, hump your hips, like let your hips totally come undone, stop your feet and just ha, ha, ha. It's totally two different experiences, but that really encapsulates the masculine and feminine and how our bodies can express it in different ways.
Thank you. I'm just like visualizing that. That's funny. That's awesome. Does anyone else want to share a response to that question? We have one more question too.
I think that the world is so much into what have you created, what have you accomplished, and proving, which is very masculine. And I feel like that enjoying piece of the feminine, like taking everything that we've accomplished, everything that we're doing, everything, and bringing it back into enjoyment is would be something that we could do for society to just bring that balance back, is to remember that, yeah, we've accomplished all these things. We've, even as, feminists and people in that realm that have been doing and changing all the legislation and doing all this stuff for women's rights to elevate the female, right, in the workplace and so forth. I think once that's accomplished, like sitting back and bringing the feminine energy back into it to enjoy and to celebrate and to nurture and to receive, and learning how to do that, that's a huge thing that I have to do. I have to sit back and like I'm actively like celebrating different things. Like Monica said, she had a book coming out, right? We have books, we have things, we have podcasts that we do each week, and it's like, how that's creating. When do we sit back and go, oh, look what I did? Like, let's celebrate that.
That's really good. One of the things that I love, Amara is actually tuning in right now. So she does a quarterly review with her audience, which I think is fantastic. But what she'll do is she'll reach out to us and she said, okay, like what have you done this quarter? Like let's celebrate each other. Let's hop on a call. Let's talk about it. And I always come to her calls because it's great to hear, what other people have done and how they're moving about in their businesses and things of that nature, but then also coming together to celebrate and to dance and have a good time. Like, I think that's so important. And we don't do that enough. So yeah, Dr. Lisha, I'm with you on that one. I need to do that too more often.
I've been thinking a lot about the holidays coming up and like how to help couples get through the holidays without, just being miserable, like in the hustle and bustle. And I think one of the things my husband and I do really well before the busy season starts is we sit down and we kind of set intentions and we talk about what are our goals that we can help support each other. And then how are we going to create time and space to feel peace and have fun together. And I think that's a really good, even just sitting down in that little powwow that we have is a great blending of the feminine and the masculine, because there is so much to do during the holidays. There is, places to go and things to prepare and, traditions to keep. But there is also this beautiful ability to just appreciate and to love and to connect with the people around us. And so I think it's really cool when you can appreciate so much of the masculine and the feminine working together to create just a really great experience for everybody, which is why I think marriage is so important in all of its forms. But when you can really incorporate the masculine and the feminine together is, I think, a really beautiful space.
Yeah, that's so true. And I do believe that a lot of women, especially right now, essentially forgot our roles and really understanding what our roles are and how we can connect with each other. How do we connect with men? What does this look like for us? I do believe, even from an elder perspective, moms and grandparents aren't necessarily how they once were. There was a time where, when my grandmother was alive, she was very straightforward about, this is what you need to do, this is what you don't need to do. And you see things online now where it's like the moms are trying to compete with the daughters. And I was at the airport on Saturday, and the guy that was sitting next to me was telling me that him and his wife divorced, and she was essentially jealous of his relationship with his daughters. So it's just very interesting as we all are talking about the masculine and feminine energy, and how it really trickles down in the household, and really having women just to understand their roles. And it's not a competition. It's not, one loves you more than the other. It really just is genuinely, do you understand the purpose of why you're here? So that's awesome. Thank you. We have one other question that just came in. In your experience, what types of businesses have thrived with more feminine energy? What business thrive with more masculine energy? And anyone can share.
I love that question. As a business owner myself, I found in my personal experience, what's really helped me to be able to thrive and grow is creating the balance between both. So in the beginning of my business, I wanted to do everything. I had so many big goals and dreams and wanted to help people. So I came up with a book, a podcast, all these different type of courses, and I was very Energizer bunny mode, and I couldn't access my feminine. I was just so go, 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 go. I didn't know how to stop, and it led to burnout. And then there was interesting, this opposite side of the pendulum where I was really connecting with what I wanted and dreaming and getting creative. And I wasn't taking action based on that. I was kind of in that dream state. So it's really helped me in cultivate that middle, which I think is applicable for all businesses as business owners, is creating those moments of stillness that you can connect with your intuition, with God, the universe, what it is that you believe in, and create those moments of stillness and journal about, okay, what is the step I'm meant to take today? Where should I focus? Asking these very introspective questions. And then when you receive the guidance and you feel nurtured in that, taking the actions accordingly. So I've worked with a wide array of different types of business owners, and I found them applying that type of process of tuning into your feminine energy first to be in a receptive being state, and then taking action accordingly has really helped them grow.
That was awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
I
Because,
agree.
yeah, yeah, go ahead, Lesha.
No, I was just like, what more can we say? Like that was perfect. That's what I've learned too. Like pretty much the same burnout. And trying to be on, I think as women is the other thing when we get into that feminine role, or what I call the shrew. I call the macho man macho, or the not so great masculine, and the not so great feminine, the shrew. And when we get in that shrew mode, we're trying to help everybody and be everything for everybody and like be all over the place, right? And so watching for that feminine imbalance too, that also can look a lot like masculinity, I think, for the feminine, but it's in more of a like a, where the masculine, I think, is like, I'm right, because they're very, it's thoughts. It's very, I think of the masculine as far as our physical body goes, is more mental, and the feminine more emotional. It's when the emotional body is like doing all the thinking, and but I have to be there for them, and I have to do that. And I used to have my trauma clients, and I was just on Voxer with them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, until I was so burnt out. I'm like, I cannot listen to any more abuse stories or flashbacks. I can't do it anymore. Like, right. And so that was me being in that shrew energy of, I'm gonna love on everyone. I'm gonna be there for everybody. And I had to learn the hard way too. And that got me into burnout. So there's the productive, healthy masculine that we can get into. And then there's the like false productive shrew energy I think we can get into as women, at least in business.
I feel like that this has a lot of practical application in different businesses, because I think I think the original question was what businesses lend themselves more to the feminine versus the masculine. But I think any business or any endeavor really benefits from both energies. There's when you start a business, you want a visionary and you want an operator, right? Which I think are the two different energies. And so, I've talked with a lot of super successful investors, like investors that invest in small businesses and help them grow. And one of the things that they really look for is, do you know what your blind spots are? And do you know like what your next hire is? Do you know, what is lacking from your particular skill set? And so I think when you have the blend of both, any business or any endeavor that you're going to get into is going to be more successful. It's like, do you know where you spend most of your time? Do you know where your weaknesses and blind spots are? Do you have somebody in place who makes up for that lack? And vice versa, like your strengths as well. So I do think anytime if you're thinking about starting a business, I would definitely think about, who do I want? Like, what are my strengths? Where do I spend the most time? And then who do I want to fill in the positions around me, so that, we can really have a solid foundation at the top. That's what I would definitely say about that.
I love that. One of the things that I would love to add to that too is just making sure that you've essentially had an opportunity to test out the roles that you want someone to now be a part of. Because one of the things that I have had to learn the hard way as well is, to Cassandra's point, you're doing all these things, especially when you first start out in your business. And the end of the day, your goal is to have a business that's sustainable and that can continue to build and operate without you physically always having to be on or be there. And sometimes because we're always in the mode of doing, we don't realize that, oh gosh, like now my business is at a point where I don't have to just be on all the time. And now I'm just secretly finding other things to just randomly go do just so I can make more work for myself that doesn't matter. So I think it's important too that take these things into consideration, of course, but also really make sure that whoever you're hiring for these roles, they do understand exactly what it is that the business needs, what it wants, and be open to their ideas as well, because you were only able to get yourself so far. And now that you are incorporating all these other people, the goal is for them to help you get to an entirely new level, which has been super helpful for me, because I know in my situation, for example, I know that I specifically want to just focus my time and attention on just creating content and having conversations. Like that's all that I want to do. But when I first started, I could not just do that. I had to do every little thing. And then once I was able to, have the finances, then I could actually go out and hire people for particular roles. And, now it's like this beautiful synergy that we can all come together and kind of that's why I call it podcast playground, because we literally have this playground of fun, and we have these parameters of where we can go within the playground. So that's awesome. Thanks so much for sharing. Let's see if we have some other questions. Okay, somebody said you are all very beautiful. Thank you. It's very nice. Very nice. Okay, awesome. So next question that I have for us, looking at sake of time as well. So we'll have two more questions for this one. The first one is, in what ways can embracing both create stronger relationships, self-awareness, and inner peace? This is such a great question. And when you all are answering this question too, I would just love for you to share from your own personal experiences, especially for the ladies and gentlemen, of course, who are listening, who would love to just really understand some things that they could do in their own lives to help with this. So I'm gonna ask the question one more time. In what ways can embracing both create stronger relationships, self awareness, and inner peace?
I think when we're in a state of balance and taking both things into consideration, taking both energies and creating that synergy and that flow within, we get into a sense of overflow. Like think of a glass. When the water is overflowing and you're connected and balanced between the two, it trickles out to your relationships. So I think, like I was kind of sharing with my own personal story of the time that I was in burnout, I was all in one energy. And as much as it was an outward journey and I was having outward success, inside of me, there was a little bit of chaos and an unregulated nervous system and everything happening within me. So I think the more that we get into a sense of balance, we're connected, we're grounded, we're at peace, we're in overflow, and then it just trickles out to everyone else, whether it's your clients, whether it's your family, your romantic relationships. So I think the more that you create that inward synergy, the more that it cascades outward to everything else.
I want to apply the filter of my partnership. So I've been with my husband for decades, and it flows so well in our relationship, which spills over to business, the family, the kids, when both of us are in the flow. Both of us are feeling the divine masculine and the feminine. And I know it, I can dip into it a little bit easier than he can. And so being that reflective partner that holds space for him to actually dip into the feminine, to create the safety for him to feel, to have the moments to cry when he needs to cry, to allow his feminine to rise up. So that way he's not just all in the masculine. That creates that the synergy, the flow, the I love the riverbank and the water. It, you know, he can stand so much taller and stronger in his masculine when he's allowing his feminine to flow. Just like when I recognize it myself, when the masculine's way up here and the feminine's way down here, how that blocks my flow. So it's mirroring each other and creating the space for really your partner as well as everyone in your life to have those moments, to see your bestie and be like, you need a moment of flow, of surrender, or yeah, let's go freaking throw rocks into the forest because we need a big rage release. So it's just helping and being there for your loved ones to have that synergy, to feel that flow of both masculine and feminine.
I love what everybody's saying about everything. It's inspiring and has me thinking. For me, I'm single. And being that I've been a single mom for many years and my kids are adults, but one still lives with me. And I feel like a lot of times I have the weight of the world on my shoulders and being an entrepreneur. And it brings me just so much reverence to when I will have that ability to just relax into my feminine and not have to worry about the structure of everything on my own. The importance of having both roles in order to really thrive in your own. So I don't know, I think that we can have partnership and friendships. I think we can have partnerships with adult kids taking on different roles. I think that we can have partnerships as relationship as well. Um, and I think that there's something special in a life partner relationship. There's a security there that allows a feminine to probably relax even more that I haven't experienced in many, many years. But that said, for me, it's about remembering that and then bringing the masculine, the structure into my day so I can give myself the time to surrender and celebrate and rest and receive and really recognizing when my friends do take care of me and and being appreciative of that and receiving of that because oftentimes that's the only place that I get that. The rest of the time it's, the Lisha show. And and honoring that I can't always be in my feminine. And that's okay, even if it would be healthier probably to be in my feminine because of circumstances. I get to create that time to try to create that balance in my life. And I think that that's something really important in business as well as in life, is to create that masculine structure for your feminine to surrender and relax and get creative and dance and move and be in your flow and, hang out in nature and do things that are going to be um not necessarily pampering or anything, but more on the caretaking of yourself rather than anything else side of the feminine.
Monica, did you have something you wanted to add? If not,
Oh,
it's okay.
I wondered if you were waiting for me to say something. I thought you guys covered it great. I mean, I thought that's such a great question. I, like I said, I believe so much in partnership, and I think that we can really draw out our partner's natural state by residing in our own natural state. And so I think there's just times and seasons where we are more in our masculine energy and we're more in our feminine energy. And I think if we just, um, really just lean into that and let our partner be in their masculine or feminine energy, when they need to, I think you just can create a lot of balance and synergy and partnership and passion, like Melanie talks about. But I think it's very natural when we're not trying to change each other. We're not trying to make each other different. When we're trying to appreciate and understand each other's differences is when that flows the most beautifully. That's all I would add to that.
Yeah, no, this is great. And Dr. Alicia, just thank you so much for sharing your perspective too, and just sharing with all of us. I know not everyone is married, so I think it's really great to hear the singles perspective as well, because we do have quite a few ladies who tune in who are single. So, I think it's great for them to acknowledge that too. So, just to add to everyone, what everyone has said too, at the end of the day, there's a season and there's a time for everything. And I know that right now in this moment, there's a season where I'm in a season where I need to be on a lot more, right? Where there was a season just 6 months ago, I was like, oh, just with the kid, like, it flows. There's also some times where I'm doing both at the same time. So regardless if you're single or you're married, at the end of the day, we're all individuals. And as an individual, we still have to make sure that we're able to embody both depending on where we are in that season. So I definitely appreciate all of you ladies for tuning in. Thank you for the questions that were shared as well. It's about 2:49 here. So for sake of time, I would love for us to just round robin for a second, just share exactly what you do, who you are, and how we can connect with you further. And Cassandra, we can start with you and we can do the same round robin that we did in the beginning.
Okay, great. Like Pierre said, I am Cassandra Rosa, and I am an intuitive life and business coach from Toronto, Canada. And I really love to help people create their next level of impact with more clarity and confidence than ever before. That's really love helping people to create that inward transformation so that they can help serve others. And you can connect with me best on Instagram. My handle is Cassandra Rosa A.
Yay! I am Melanie Bonk, and I am a somatic therapist and a certified love, sex, and relationship coach. I help individuals and couples bonk better. It's in the name. I do that with somatic work. So it's not so much talk therapy as it is connecting with our body, feeling where the trauma, where conditioning, where imprints are made on our bodies, on our sexuality, on our love, which it happens to all of us, regardless of how we were raised. And we befriend that and create the energy where we get to repurpose that energy for pleasure, for love, for deeper intimacy, and ultimately safety in the body. You can reach me on Instagram as well at Bonk Better. And I'm so excited to connect.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for listening. So, my name is Dr. Lisha Antica. I studied transpersonal psychology, and my focus was on helping people heal from the effects of sexual abuse, whether it's childhood sexual abuse, trafficking, to relationship abuse, and or a single incident. And so I wrote a program for my PhD called Reclaim Intimacy. And through 12 steps, we really walk you back into the driver's seat of your body, your relationship with you, and reclaim it from the effects of that abuse. So you can have amazing orgasms, amazing fun, and understand your masculine and your feminine and energy and what you like and what you don't like, and oming and a whole bunch of other stuff too, to really express who you are rather than what happened to you. And I work with couples and individuals, and you can reach me at lishaantica.com.
My name is Monica Tanner. I've been married for 23 years. I have 4 children. I work with couples. I'm certified relational life therapy and sex therapy. I work mostly with couples, but also with individuals. And right now I'm doing a lot of attachment work. So just love, love, love what I do every day, and grateful to be here. You can reach me also as well on Instagram at Moni Talks Marriage, MONI Talks Marriage.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone so much for tuning in. Again, lastly but not least, my name is Vier Miles. I am the host of the Holistic Sister Circle and podcast playground for female entrepreneurs. So within both of those communities, if you are not tuning in, please do so. And if you are a speaker who would love to be a part of the Holistic Sister Circle community, please reach out. And if you are just someone who just wants to tune in and just learn more about how you can learn more about yourself or your relationships or even health, we are here every single week, every week, Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. So be sure to tune in, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone.